Happy Friday. Hello. I hope you guys had a great week. I know that I did. I had an amazing week. Today was kind of crazy a little bit, but nonetheless, I am here. I am with you. It's our date night. It's Friday night sessions, talking business and everything else that I love. Positivity and wins and just having an open and honest dialogue. Talking about all the things that I love. So much fun, right? So welcome. Hi. All right. So tonight is absolutely no different. We have a wonderful sponsor. Tonight's sponsor is actually Christina Chapper. She is with Insight eLearning. I went ahead and put her Instagram handle on the screen for you. So who is she, right? She is an amazingly driven, intelligent, business-minded woman, and she is an instructional designer. And you're probably like, Antonia, what is that? So basically what she does is she creates highly engaging, highly professional and polished courses for businesses and small to mid-sized businesses and entrepreneurs, even solo entrepreneurs. And her clients are in so many different industries, from lashes to hair to weight loss to corporate America clients trying to train their staff. Anything and everything that has to do with course creation or webinar presentations, she is your go-to girl. Please hit her up on Instagram. And I also put in the URL to Instagram down in the ticker tape, which I'll leave up for a little bit while longer as I continue to talk about her, for any type of courses that you need to be created. Now, why a course? A lot of people right now are looking for like passive income. Basically, they want to just put their heart and soul into something and put it out there to the masses. So Christina does that. She either helps you create your own, or she creates it for you. And in addition to that, she also helps you figure out a marketing strategy to get it out there, to get your course sold and booked. So if you are looking for someone to create your course, or if you have an idea for a course that you're thinking about creating and you just want to make sure that it's something viable, she has a lot of good content on her Instagram. She has a lot of good freebies. I know she just opened up a membership program as well that she's constantly dropping gems on you. So hit her up on Instagram. She is absolutely fabulous. She is tonight's sponsor. So excited. Let's see. All right, so Michi is there. She says, I'm ready. Where you at? I'm in Tampa. Enjoying this Friday. So excited. Hi, Lynn. How are you, my love? Gosh, I haven't seen you in ages. I hope everything is good. Actually, I know everything's good. I see you a lot on Facebook, so you're good. Hi, Takia girl. How are you doing? So excited to see you. All right, let's go ahead and move on. So let's start with our weekly wins, shall we? So a couple of people responded to the post that I put up yesterday talking about their weekly wins. So I definitely want to give them a shout out. And then some people who didn't respond, I want to still give a shout out because I know they're doing great things right now. And maybe they just didn't get to see the post because of the algorithm or whatever the reason might be. So the first one who said their weekly win was Takia. She says right now she's on cloud 100. As of September 25th, 2020, she will be a real live published author with a manuscript editor cred. You go, girl. I'm so proud of you. That is so amazing. What a huge accomplishment. So many people start projects or businesses and they just don't follow through. So the fact that you did it and it's coming to fruition and people can actually support you with it. Again, like I said on the last live, please let me know when it's available. I will pay full price happily because I know it's going to be good. So awesome for you. So let's talk about my win this week. So it is super exciting because, and it actually ties into tonight's live, so it's kind of perfect a little bit. I get the chance to become an employer all over again. I'm in process of hiring not one, but two people as of right now. They've already accepted their offers, so it's fine for me to talk about. But it's just the fact that my business started from just a passion of mine, from just being wanting to help people and to be the very best at what I can do, and taking pride in my quality of work and what I present out into the world. And I've always done it for other people and other people's businesses, and now I finally get to do that on my own. So the people that I'm bringing on the team are very crucial, very much needed. I definitely weighed all of the things that we're going to go over tonight to make sure that it was the right step for Assist-U to make, because we're kind of growing like exponentially here. We went from just me in 2017 to now we're like in double digits. So it's massive. So, but nonetheless, that is a super huge win for me and for the company as a whole. Because when you pair great people with your brand, with your company, I mean, the sky's the limit of where you go, right? So if anybody else has a win that they want to go over today, or I would be more than happy to shout it out, just please go ahead and put it into the comments, and I will take a break in a second and look at it for you, and we can shout you guys out. So, all right, let's move on to tonight's topic, shall we? All right. So tonight's topic is one of my faves. I have a couple of faves. I really like numbers, and I really, really like people. And I really, really enjoy interviewing people for jobs. So this kind of topic is definitely one of my faves, all-time faves. And I'm going to give you a lot of information. There's not a mind map graph for this tonight, but there is a replay. So if you do watch the replay, take some notes. If you have any questions, either put it in the comments now, or you can go ahead and send me a message. So 1 second. All right. So Michi says that her weekly win is she did her first live masterclass and she got over her fear. Go her. All right. That's what I was so excited. Yes. And I was involved in the masterclass and it was good. I took a lot of notes. So catch the next one. I'll put either Michi, you put in the chat the link for the next live for next week for the masterclass, or I will afterwards. So totally up to you. I want to definitely continue to support you and your brand. It's a good one. All right. So tonight we're going to talk about first being an employer, becoming an employer. So what does that mean to you? So to me, when I'm an employer, I don't care if it's a W-2 employee or a 1099 contractor. It's someone that I am giving money to. So for those of you who don't know what a W-2 employee is, it's basically an employee that you put on your payroll and you pay all of their things to the state, all of their taxes. You have to have certain type of insurance to cover them. You provide all of your company materials and laptops and hardware, and you provide all of the supplies for them. Sometimes if they're good, you might even give them a coffee from Starbucks. You know, sometimes I do that every once in a while. But that would be your employee. You're telling to the state and to the government that you are responsible for paying this person in return to work. A 1099 contractor, though, they sometimes are their own entity. Sometimes they are just a person who's doing like a side job or a side hustle, and they're like tipping or dipping their toe into the water. But basically, you are not responsible for them at all. Honestly, if you're going to work with a 1099er, you should probably have an independent contractor agreement created for you. There's tons of like lawyer websites that you can get one from, like templates and stuff, or you could actually go to a business attorney if you have one, and get an independent contractor agreement created, issue it to the independent contractor, make sure they execute it, you execute it, and you both get executed copies. But that's pretty much it. You might give them access to like your client database or your files, or if they are like a virtual assistant, you might have them sign on to your team in platforms like Canva or Trello or Monday. But that's essentially it. They're really responsible for themselves, basically. So that's honestly the biggest difference. And then at the end of the year, regardless if they're a W-2 or 1099, your payroll provider, or if you're doing this manually, which I hope you're not, if you're deciding to become an employer, will issue your employee either a W-2 that they can file their taxes with, or a 1099 that they can file either with their business taxes or with their personal taxes. So I hope I explained that well. If you have any questions, put it in the comments and I'll go back and answer it. So now that we know the difference between a W-2 and a 1099, we're going to mainly talk about W-2 employees, because 1099s don't really have a lot of responsibilities that you as an employer have to take care of. Sometimes, though, I know in certain professional businesses, you have to have business omission and errors insurance, and you have to include your 1099ers, but not often. So don't worry. So tonight we're going to focus on W-2 employees. All right. So that brings us to the question, who's going to be your first employee? Well, honestly, in my opinion, your first employee should be you. So hopefully you hired yourself, right? So basically you're your first employee is how it should be. You should be paying yourself. You should be filing taxes to help you at tax time. You should be getting an IRA account, or not an IRA, it's like a self-employment retirement account with your bank or with your money management company. So you should be paying yourself. And I tell you one thing, and I think I said in another live, that in the event somebody comes after you, you want to make sure that you can show that you have been paying yourself as an employee, so that you're getting paid and the money is coming out of your business assets. So if you do get sued, goodness forbid, they would go after just the business assets, depending on the type of company structure you set up. Versus if you don't pay yourself and all your money is just sitting in the bank in your operating account, they can just take it all. And that's not where in the business of business to do, right? To have no money. So I would definitely say to pay yourself. Some of the questions that I figure out for people, because they often ask, is, Antonia, how do I pay myself? How do I figure out how much I should be making? A lot of my answers and my responses is definitely not what they're thinking. Definitely not. But I always refer people to the statistics, the stats. I want to live in reality. I like holding on to numbers. They're solid, they're real. Statistics are there. So to get to the statistics, you would just basically do a search for salary comps and be very real with yourself. Yes, you're the owner, but how much experience do you have in this field? How much work are you actually going to do? Is this full-time or is this part-time? And the reason why I say to approach yourself as an employee is because you never know what's going to happen, right? 2020 is the year of you never know what's going to happen. So everyone who was out there applying for PPP loans, which is like the payroll protection loans, they had to show proof through various different ways that they actually have people on their payroll and that they're actually paying people. So if you're not paying yourself and you're your only employee, what are you going to show and how are you going to get support? And I'm sure just like you, I didn't expect for any of this to happen in 2020 with the pandemic, but with government assistance through the PPP loan, it helped a lot of people because they had employees on their books. So it doesn't always pay to underpay yourself or to pay yourself under the table, if you know what I mean. So awesome. So that's basically who your first employee is. So now let's focus on your second and third and fourth employees. So what do you do when you decide that you want to hire someone? So again, me going back to the numbers, you need to figure out your costs first. Do not go on LinkedIn. Do not go on Indeed. Do not go on Job Recruiter and post up a ad for an employee and you don't know how much you're going to spend. You don't even know if you can afford it. Because the worst thing to do is to put your business name out there, put a job ad out there, people see it, they apply, and either you don't respond or you try to lowball people because you finally realize how much it's actually going to cost to have someone. So find out your numbers first. So let's take a quick break and see what the comments are saying. She says, when do you use one over the other? Oh, you're talking about W-2 versus 1099? Honestly, it really depends. So in some states, they have laws that kind of make it really difficult for employers to hire tons and tons of 1099ers. I don't know if anyone is staying up to date with what's going on in the state of California with a huge transportation company called Uber. I don't know if you've heard of them. But basically, the court said that they have to make all of their independent contractors, their 1099ers, employees. And that is going to be a massive hit for companies like Uber and Lyft and things of the sort, delivery companies and transportation companies. So it really just depends. You want to make sure that you're not top heavy. When you're smaller and you're generating maybe like less, let's just say less than $1 million, I would say as a company, I really wouldn't worry about it too much. If more of your employees or your staff are 1099ers versus your W-2ers. It's more so when you get into different states and jurisdictions and you get into the higher revenue brackets, you want to start considering maybe possibly, ending your contract with your 1099 and offering them a W-2 position. So definitely. That was a great question, Michi. Good. Let's see. So Terrence says, explain the tax bracket between a W-2 and a 1099er. So I'm not sure what your question is, Terrence, because the difference between a W-2er and a 1099er salary is not, it doesn't determine whether or not you should be a 1099 or a W-2. Anyone could be a 1099, whether they get paid $250,000. It just depends on, the company, right? Or if they get paid $2,500. So when you are dealing with W-2 employees, there is a difference between the threshold between an hourly versus a salaried employee, which I believe in the state of Florida, it's anything over like 36,000 or like close to 40,000. Then you have to, that's one of the qualifiers to put that person as a salaried employee versus an hourly employee. And then they wouldn't be eligible for overtime in some circumstances. So I hope I answered your question. If not, send a follow-up in the comments and I'll go from there. Okay, so we're talking about figuring out your costs. So even though I told you not to go on Indeed, not to go on Job Recruiter, not to go on LinkedIn and post a job description, you still want to make sure you create a job description. And you're like, Antonia, why? That doesn't make any sense. I just want to hire somebody. Because you have to be able to compare apples to oranges. So you want to list out very clearly what you want this person's objective to be, what they're responsible for. You want to figure out what type of abilities or skills or experience that you want this person to have. One, you want to do that because it's extremely helpful to be clear going into a new employer-employee type of relationship where you've clearly defined what you want this person to do, and they've clearly accepted that they can do these things, right? That you're going to be staying on top of them and making sure they're able to do. in the beginning, before the interview process, even when you're doing phone screenings, you want to have whoever's doing it have your job description readily available to make sure we're not wasting anyone's time. You want to have it up even when you're reviewing resumes or profiles or portfolios. You want to have it up, right? So it's a big time not waster. I think that's not how you say the phrase, but we'll be okay. You get what I mean, right? Got it. Okay. So another good thing about creating the job description before you post it anywhere is you're able to then do an investigation of salary comps in your area. So you can look and see how much are people getting paid for this type of position. Sometimes if your position that you are trying to fill is not really, is extremely niche and it is kind of rare because you're kind of like putting a whole bunch of things together. Sometimes that happens. Multiple hat people are out there. I'm one of those people. I like wearing multiple hats. Then you want to make sure that you're seeing how much other people in the industry that you're in are getting paid, because you don't want to disrespect someone by lowballing them. And then also you want to make sure that you can actually afford to have them on your payroll. So if you decide that you're going to hire somebody at $25 an hour, you want to make sure that you can cover not just paying them their hourly wage or salary. You want to make sure that you can cover all of the other fun things like federal income tax, state income tax, Social Security tax. And not just that, you also want to cover a lot of other plethora of things. You want to make sure you have the hardware for them, the licenses for things like your email. So it's really crucial that you know in the beginning exactly how much you're going to spend on this person. So that's why I say you always want to review your numbers. So in a couple of other Friday night sessions, when we were just having so much fun, I said that it is a good idea to know your numbers, like to back into things, right? So that you could know exactly how much it costs for this person to work per hour. So this is, I'm saying it again because it is so important. You need to know exactly how much your costs of goods sold. So basically how much all of your things that you need in order to deliver a product or to a service to someone, how much they total up to. And then you need to now factor in the hourly rate for the employee that you're hiring or their salary, and then all of the other fun things and percentages that you need to add on top of it, like the federal income tax, the state income tax, if your state makes your employees pay state income tax, Social Security tax. There's also another state that requires employers to pay like paid medical family leave, which is amazing. But if you're a small business and you're just starting out, it might be costly. So you want to know about all of these different things. And one of the things that you want to make sure that you get the numbers on is your workers' comp insurance. So if you only have one employee and you're your first employee, and it's just you don't really need to get workers' comp insurance. It's not like required by law, but you can. And I always advise people to, because who knows, if you might be an agency owner like myself, and I might get arthritis in my hand, or, I might get hurt going to a client meeting. I want to make sure that me and my assets and my family are going to be covered and we're okay. So I say insurance, no matter what kind of insurance, is not bad insurance. So if you are employing other people, you can do this thing where it's called an exempt status as the business owner. You can exempt your salary from being calculated in the quote and in the policy for your workers' comp policy for your employees. And then you also have to cover the cost for that. It could be a couple of $100s a year annually, depending on how much your total gross salary is for the year. And if you need help calculating that, just send me a message or drop a note in the comments. And I'd be more than happy to walk you through that. So let me check the comments real quick before we move on to creating a power team. But that in a nutshell is how you would want to become an employer. There are some other things, like you definitely need an EIN number. You definitely want to pick a payroll provider. I highly suggest you do not do it yourself. There is a company that I love that actually a couple of my clients use and that I use called Gusto. They are phenomenal with their trainings and their customer service. And if you have employees all across the United States like I do, then they know every type of payroll law and requirement for every single state. And even with new changes, they come out with updates and they let you know. So definitely invest in a payroll company. So hold on one second. Let's see. All right. Oh, so Kia just joined. So hi, Kia. It's so nice to see you. Awesome. Okay, so let's talk about creating your power team. So everybody's power is different, right? In their opinion. My power team is one that is cohesive, that knows exactly what the mission is and knows everybody's strengths and knows what everybody's doing in order to get us to that one centralized mission. And we've talked about our mission. Currently, our mission right now is Mission 100 for 365 days. We want to help 100 businesses either start or launch a new product or service. So everyone who is aboard my team is helping us reach that mission. So it's extremely important that when you're hiring employees or when you're adding contractors to join your team, they are clearly informed and they understand what the actual goal is. Not just for productivity and efficiency, but it also makes an employee feel really good. Like, oh my gosh, I have a spot in this beautiful puzzle of this business that is this mission. So it definitely gives that sense of belonging when someone has a mission. So a couple of things that I like to talk about when we talk about a power team and we're creating it is to think about culture, right? So to me, a powerful team equals a powerful culture. What is your company's culture? If you don't have a team member yet or a contractor that you're dealing with yet, what do you want your culture to be like? Do you want everyone to be more collaborative? Do you want like a triangle type model where everyone at the top just, sends the orders down the pipeline? Do you want a company culture where people, unfortunately don't really want to come to you and ask questions, and it's just kind of like, okay, here, figure it out, So it's something definitely you want to think about, and you should have probably already thought about when you were creating like things like your business plan, when you're talking about your mission and your vision. You also need to think about your company culture. How do you not only want your customers and clients to feel, but how do you want your employees to feel? Assist-U's company culture is very simple: positive collaboration. So we want everyone to be positive no matter what. There are no negatives. There are no issues or broken or missed deadlines or failures. There are just positive reinforcement. Okay, yes, it didn't work that way, but let's figure out another way to make it work. Or, okay, yes, this might not be ready by this date, but this is what we're going to do in the meantime, and then we're going to make this date. So it's always just staying positive and moving forward, essentially. And then also, I want people to collaborate. I want everyone on my team to jump in, and we talk very openly and honestly about our clients and what we're working on and the projects and the deadlines. And I want everybody's input. Now we might not go in their direction, but I never want there to be a time that someone who works in my company to feel like they're not being heard. And if that's something that you want for your company and your team, then maybe that's something you should probably include in your company culture, and definitely relay that information when you're doing an interview with a potential employee. So Also, things like just, the common sense things, right? Like only hire people that actually fit the job description that you created. If you're going to work with friends or family, make sure, the relationship is separated when they walk into the workplace. Just basic housekeeping things that, are pretty common sense. But I think the biggest thing with anything, with growing a powerful team, is to make sure you protect that culture, define that culture, and seek out that culture in all of your new employees and staff. So it's extremely crucial. So, all right. So real quick, we are just going to go into, I touched on it a little bit, but I want to make sure that everyone is aware. So we are doing the Mission 100, and I want to give you an update. Oh, so excited. Okay. So as of yesterday, we are at 7 out of the 100 that we are wanting to help launch new businesses or launch a new product or service out of the 100 goal. So if we do 100 divided by like 12, it's like 8 point something. So we just rounded up to 9. So we are 2 more services or businesses away from launching in the month of August in order to meet our monthly goal. So I did the backup. I got the big number, I divided it by 12, and then I divided it by the week and all of that good stuff to figure it out. So it never stops, right? Figuring out your goals never stops. So that's so exciting. All right. So if you are looking to launch a business or a product or a service or a course or a book or a webinar, and everything that you want to do and put out into the world, Assist-U is the people who's going to help you get that done. We'd be more than happy to assist you with that. So if we don't have any other questions, I think that's going to conclude our Friday night session. Last thing. So I am dressed kind of casual today, and it's not the usual, but I just wanted to say that this weekend is my 2-year anniversary with my husband, Sam. So excited. So today was pretty laid back and it was gorgeous. And I just want to put out there, love is a beautiful thing. And just as much as I love business, I love love as well. And I hope all of you guys have love in your hearts and in your lives. Good night. I will see you next Friday. Whoop, whoop. Have a good week. Be productive.